If the U.S. government decides to stick a tracking device up your ass, you say thank you. And God bless America.
You're listening to The Corbett Report. CorbettReport.com.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of The Corbett Report. I'm your host, James Corbett of CorbettReport.com, coming to you, as always, from the sunny climes of Western Japan, here on this 21st day of June, 2013. Welcome to episode 272 of the Corbett Report podcast, Solutions, Surveillance. Now, I know I don't need to explain any of this context for the regular listeners of this program, but for those who are tuning in, and there are more tuning in every single day, and for those of you out there who may have been living under a rock the past few weeks, there is a major scandal that's currently continuing to unfold regarding the NSA and the total surveillance of all electronic communications going on in and through and around the United States and around the globe. And yes, you did hear me correctly, total government surveillance. Right now, if you are following the mainstream headlines, you will probably only have heard vague talk about metadata and the possibility that some Americans' phone calls were accidentally being recorded or scooped up in this, etc., etc. But the real scandals have been broken for years and are only starting to come to the surface now, which is that, in fact, all electronic communications, emails, faxes, telephone calls, everything is being collected and stored wholesale by the NSA. And this is gradually coming to the surface now, and the full ramifications of this are only beginning to scrape and claw their way into the mainstream consciousness. And I would generally be very skeptical about the possibility of this scandal being anything more than a controlled, limited hangout. But there are signs that there is genuine progress being made in breaking through the real story through the mainstream media, establishment media, mouthpiece media cover-up. And I say this advisedly because the most important part of this whole scandal has just broken, and broken in a big way. 2 days ago, for those of you listening on the June 21st, 2 days ago, BoilingFrogsPost.com published a podcast interview with ex-NSA whistleblower Russell Tice, who has for years been talking about how the NSA has been tapping, for example, journalists' communications. And somehow, when the AP spying story came up recently, it all seemed like it was new. But in fact, Russell Tice and other NSA whistleblowers have been talking about this for years, and have even talked about it on mainstream outlets like MSNBC. But somehow that just all got swept into the memory hole. Well, Russell Tice just gave an explosive interview to BoilingFrogsPost.com in which he named names of who was being targeted for NSA surveillance, and he was talking about documents that he saw and he held in his own hands authorizing the wiretap of, amongst others, then Illinois Senator, soon-to-be President Barack Obama. This is absolutely explosive. It goes to the heart of what this total government surveillance is really about, which is, for example, ultimate political power, because he who controls those wiretaps controls the politicians that are being wiretapped. This is Blackmail 101. This is a bombshell story. I would generally expect it to be completely swept up and swept under the rug and covered up by the mainstream establishment media, but even they cannot ignore stories this big when we push them out in a big way. So a big thank you to everyone who has been pushing this story out there, and it is now starting to hit in a big way. It got posted on Huffington Post, it made the front page of AOL, it got to The Blaze, it's on Drudge Report, so it is now going to be a major mainstream story as piggybacking on the Snowden story. So we're getting some real information out there for the masses, and for those of you who haven't listened to that Boiling Frogs Post interview, I will put it in the show notes for today's episode so you can go and listen to it. I also conducted my own follow-up interview with Russell Tice yesterday, and that is available on Corbett Report, where I pressed Russ for more information about those wiretap orders, who the people that were being targeted, what those orders looked like, and all of that information. I tried to get as much as I possibly could into that interview, so that is now available for download from CorbettReport.com. So please get this out, and please help to push this out into the mainstream. This is the real spying story. This is the real scandal, and we are breaking through into mainstream coverage.
Holy crap on a cracker.
So, once again, for those of you who are just joining this story, maybe you're in luck because you can skip over all of the false red herrings and all the limited hangouts about metadata and the like and go straight to the heart of the story, which is that the NSA is involved in total governmental surveillance of all electronic communications and that this is being used for blackmail purposes on politicians, judges, lawyers, and other high-ranking officials of the government. So this should not be surprising to regular listeners of the Corbett Report, but it is good to have this confirmed by ex-NSA whistleblowers and insiders who actually held the documents in their hands. This is extremely important information.
Ladies and gentlemen, the very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society, and we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no secret is revealed. That is why the Athenian lawmaker Solon decreed it a crime for any citizen to shrink from controversy. I am asking your help in the tremendous task of informing and alerting the American people, confident that with your help, man will be what he was born to be, free and independent.
Seems there's a sickness running through the land. People see the worth they have through the eyes of another man. And we try to please them, but I don't think we can. We watch our freedoms crumble when the choice becomes demand. Parents hand the children over, society blurs the cage. Future predetermined by the numbers on the page. Religion is holding, I'm broken, confused by political gains. So lost in the painted boxes, frustration turns to rage. I can't believe that they're telling me that we ain't got no cure for this. The doctors are panicking, cause their pills are laced with lies. It's bullshit. The people are rioting when few control the money, leaving most with none. A revolution's in order. Go buy a shotgun. Revolution. I can't believe that they're telling me that we ain't got no cure for this. The doctors are panicking, cause their pills are laced with lies. It's bullshit. The people are rioting when few control the money, leaving most with none. A revolution's in order. Go buy a shotgun. Revolution. A revolution. revolution.